Welcome! I hope you're doing well. If you couldn't have guessed by the title, the thumbnail, or my looks, today's video is all gonna be about Red Riding Hood. Today we're reading 3 books that are all Red Riding Hood retellings. 2 are in the horror category and 1 is a YA or middle grade. I'm not sure actually. So let's start with that one. It's All the Better to See You by Gina Blaxill. And in this we follow Red. And she is sort of the outcast of a very little town. And the town has lived with these stories of a wolf eating villagers for a while now. You know, the rumors get more frequent. Townspeople get attacked again. And obviously Red is the outcast, so whispers of the wolf become more frequent, villagers get attacked, and as in, you know, small towns goes, the villagers turn on each other. I found this in London for very cheap, saw it was a reselling and bought it. That's all I know about this book. So I'm pretty sure I found it in the cellar, and I think that was the middle grade section. I found it with the Tangled retelling I read earlier, but the synopsis doesn't really sound like a middle grade, so I'm not sure if it is YA or a middle grade. And then we have the 2 horror books. One is What Big Teeth You Have by Rose Szabo. This is about Eleanor Zarin, and she has been estranged from her bloodthirsty family. But after a horrific accident, she's fleeing her boarding school, and the only place she can go is that horrific family. So very curious to see what's going on with this one. This is a horror YA, I believe, so it will not be as gory. And then I have Sisters Red by Jackson Pearce. This is probably the book I'm looking most forward to. This is the first book in a quartet all about fairy tale retellings. I have read the second book in the series by accident. Absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 stars. That was about Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel and Red Riding Hood are my favorite fairy tale to retell. They can be so gruesome. Also, I especially love them in horror retellings. And since I already love a book in this particular series, and I love the writing style of this author, this has to be my this has to be good. So these are the 3 books I will be reading. I'll let you know what I think. If you want to see more fairy tale stuff after this video, I have linked the playlist of all my fairy tale related videos down below in the subscription box. If you want to see another fairy tale related video, you know, if you want to see a video from another fairy tale that is not Red Riding Hood, go check it out. I've probably done it. If not, let me know down in the comments which fairy tale I should do a video on. Until then, please like and subscribe this video if you want to see more chaos from me. And let's get cracking. Hello. Whoa. Hi. I am 144 pages in of What Big Teeth by Rose Szabo. I always only remember Szabo. Megan didn't like this book because it was weird, so she wanted to see if I liked it or not, and she warned me it was weird, and it is. She's right. However, I love it. I tend to happen to like weird books, and it does. So far in, we're not far, right? Eleanor has got back into her house, and she basically has a family of werewolves. And then her mom is something else. She consists for half out of polyps. And they have this family friend that has not been specified as anything. However, he has all the very well-known traits of a vampire. So I'm pretty sure he's a vampire, and there's something going on with the family. I do think he is in service of the werewolf family, and then one of their family members from the werewolves is probably working for the vampire family to keep the peace. That's what I'm guessing. I'm not sure. We're not there yet. I don't even know for sure he's a vampire, but he has all the traits, right? So it does remind me in that bit a bit of the Addams family. It's a very weird family of monsters. And there are definitely politics going on in the monster world. I don't know how to describe it differently, but like in the Addams family. Only the Addams family is really close together, and these are a bit less. But then they are. I'm absolutely intrigued by this book. It is absolutely not going as fast as I want, because I'm not. I don't know. I have no concentration, so reading is hard. So I'm only reading on sprints right now, and then on some of the sprints I do something else, and I'm not reading. And I tried reading this before bed, but the chapters are very, very long. So then Job stays, keeps awake because I'm reading, and he can't sleep while the light is on for obvious reasons. So we also don't want to read this in before bed. So not sure if we can make it this week because currently it's Friday. I only have read this on Monday and Tuesday for a bit. And then I also have these two books to read. So I think this is gonna be a reading heavy weekend for me. But I'm also not sure if I can do it because tomorrow and Monday, Job's parents are coming, and then today I need to film another announcement video, need to... somewhere in this weekend I also need to edit a lot. Like both videos for next week, as well as the cookie reels. I do want to make pastries for Job and my father-in-law because they are trying to finish the roof this weekend, and I would like to make some truffles for my own, so I also have something nice. And then this came in today. Isn't it cute? Emailed, all of a sudden sent me a message. Did you get a package? I was like, I received my Udi for camp. Is that what package are we talking about? And he was like, no, it's not that package. And I was like, no. But today it was here. It has been delivered after I bought after I tried looking for packages. And it's The Worst Witch by Jill Murphy. I really want to read this because you all recommended it to me. And then it has a very lovely message in it. I don't know what to do because I'm loving this, right? So I'm not giving this up. But I would like to get a vlog out every week. And so I kind of have to finish this weekend. I could use Monday in it, but then I really need to... Yeah. That's as about far as I can stretch it. So I see a lot of reading sprints ahead of me, and I'm not allowed to do anything else in those reading sprints because I do really want to read them. I've just, also have a lot of stuff knitting wise I need to finish this month, and then I'm doing more in the household, which is great that I am able to do so. But it obviously takes time, and it does make me very tired. So yeah, that's
I'm not really a planner, right? But it's at least an update for this video because I haven't done that either. So here we are. I'm still reading. And I am enjoying it though. So I will see you even if something really big happens in this book and I need to, let out some emotions. Or when I finish it. There's still a long way to go though, so 390 pages. Well, let's have the so I'm 9 pages off the half. Alright. That makes it less difficult. I'm blabbering. I'll see you later. Bye.
Hello, here I am. A week and a half later, and I, sorry, see, it's late. I have finished the book. However, we're in a bit of a pickle again. Because this ain't no Red Riding Hood retelling. It's not. It's a great book. I loved it. But it is not a Red Riding Hood retelling. So thanks for the person who put it on the list on Goodreads. It's not. I did enjoy this very, very much. If anything, it gave me Addams Family vibe. This is definitely about an eerie, very, old world, old money family of monsters that have very weird, but from the outside, it's probably gonna be, same with the Addams Family, right? If you see them, if you just see their behavior from the outside, you think they hate each other, they will kill each other. But they're actually very loving to each other. This is the same. There are werewolves in this, there are witches in this, there is tarot reading in this, there is a creature from sea polyps in it, there is a man that specifically he sus. And the way they describe him, it's giving vampire. But they all kind of make it work, and I really, really enjoyed this book. I would absolutely recommend this book, but it's not a Red Riding Hood retelling. So, welcome to another team vlog where the first book I read is not the theme. The problem is, I was supposed to put this vlog out today. I have read one book and it's not Red Riding. So what to do now? I have these two. This, I absolutely know it is Red Riding Hood. This one, it starts with Red is well versed in the story of the beast who preys on unsuspecting travelers, and yet she pays them no mind. Look, it has a red cloak and the main character is called Red. If this ain't a Red Riding Hood story, I don't know what will. So, it's the day before the Climates Week. I would love to read plenty this week. However, I also really hope to finish my socks. However, I have finished with Big Teeth. I did really enjoy it. I think this one has to sit a bit with me before the rating. Right now I'm thinking 4 stars. However, I can totally see this book being a book I have to think about a lot. And I will keep referring to, I will keep thinking about. This could be a book that is gonna live rent free in my head. If that is the case, it is only fair to give it 5 stars. So that's that's what I'm not gonna do. However, I will put this in for a book that is a lie, because it was obviously not a Red Riding Hood. So that's another prompt done. I will only get 1 coin for it because, again, it was not a retelling. If it is it's not a retelling. But if I have to pinpoint one fairy tale it has an aspect of, it's Snow White. And it's small, and it is at the end. And that's all I can say about it. It is not a Snow White retelling. Before you're all gonna read it, it ain't fairy tale. It was really nice though, so I would recommend. And depending on what I decide to do, I will probably don't see you for a few days. I will probably film a vlog in between this. So I will see you when I see you. Bye.
Hello. I'm 174 pages in. And I don't really like it. Which is very unfortunate. Because the second book in this series I absolutely loved and gave 5 stars. The second book is Sweetly. It's a Hansel and Gretel retelling. And both Red Riding and Hansel and Gretel are my favorite for retelling. So I think part of it is because this is in Dutch. And I don't vibe with Dutch books as well as with English books. But most of it is the POV we get first is from Scarlet, and she is obsessed and actually quite mean to her sister. And then we also get the POV of the sister Rosie. But as first we didn't get her POV as much. And now we do get it every other chapter. It is mostly about her feelings for the main male character. Which is not something I want to read about if you're hunting werewolves. Or in this book, they're called Fenriers. And it's just all about hunting them. There is not really a lot of lore to it. They don't know a lot of lore from it. That is part of this story, that their information is short and nobody can give it to them. But that, that is something I normally like so much in retelling. So that is lacking for me. There is barely any world building. And then I also don't like the characters we follow. So the only thing left is the fairy tale aspect. And, she is called Scarlet and they're hunting in red capes on Fenriers that are people who transform into wolves. I wish we got more because there is lore. Like, there are multiple clans of those Fenriers. And, all the wolves are currently looking for the one that's called the candidate. And that one is turnable to make a Fenrir. It's now a normal man or boy, but that person is turnable to make a Fenrir in a certain moon phase. So there isn't, but because the characters are still uncovering it, we don't get it. And I just want that. That's all I care about, because I don't care about the characters. The hunts are basically all the same. They were great. Now the main character, that's, the main hunter and the big shot, is failing, and she can't deal with it. So yeah, I don't like it as much. This was Jackson Pearce's first ever book. This was her debut book. So I think that can also be part of why I don't like it as much. Maybe she just really improved her writing in the second book. It's hard for me because the second book I read in English, so it's hard for me to compare. But yeah, that was a 5 stars. So this is so disappointing. I was so looking forward to this book. I have 155 pages left, so I'm over half. So I hope we get a lot of lore in the last half, because they're, about to find it out, right? You would guess so. I hope so. So I hope that makes me like this book more, because currently I don't really care about it. I don't hate it, but I also don't care about it. So it would be 2 stars, which is devastating if it is in the same series as one of my favorite retellings of all time. I am very glad now that I read Sweetly first and not this book, because I would not have continued with the series if this was my first book. But now I have read Sweetly, and I know Jackson Pearce can do so much with retellings, and, has written one of my favorite retellings of all time. So I am still willing to give the other 2 a shot. However, they are hard to come by, so that is the other problem. But I guess I'll update you when I finish this and let you know the final thoughts and rating. I do not want to pick up Sister's Red at all. So I have decided to DNF it. I just do not have interest. Which makes this series interesting, though, because the first book is a DNF and the second book was a 5 stars. So I definitely want to continue in this series. Actually, because the series is very hard to get. So when I decided to DNF it, I was like, I do want to get to the third book and see if this was, this is her debut book. So it would be logical for this to be less good as the others, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. You might think differently. And if you enjoy this book, great. I wish I did. And I went to see if I could find the book, and I actually found a secondhand book of Fathomless. It's the third book in this quartet. So I will try that, but this book, it's not doing it for me. So this one is a DNF, unfortunately. So I did pick up All the Better to See You, the last book that I had lined up as a Red Riding Hood retelling. And this is by Gina Blaxill. And we follow Red, who got the nickname Red because she wears a cape with a red hood. And her grandma even called her Little Red when she was a little kid. So this is definitely a Red Riding Hood retelling. So that's good. Because so far we had one that was not a Red Riding Hood retelling. We have one that that was a Red Riding Hood retelling, but I didn't like. So I hope this is better. Red is very different. So she, has been bullied by villagers. And we also follow this girl, Sabrina, who is one of the bulliers, and her mom in this small little village is known as the gossip. And Sabrina definitely has tendencies to bully, but also, I feel like, to manipulate. But then she is just extremely bored by what she's allowed to do in this village as a girl. And she would like to be a doctor instead. So, I kind of get the motive, but I'm not liking her behavior so far. And then we follow this one boy that has 7 brothers, but they're all different hair color and a tiny bit different skin color than he has. And then this whole small town village is tortured by a wolf. 5 years ago, the wolf took the life of 7 men from the village, and it's the only wolf that targeted humans. And the other wolf packs in the forest are even disappearing, as well as a lot of other forest animals. I am currently 114 pages in, and there's definitely something going on with the boy we follow. The boy is actually a nice character. And it's with the rich people. I think he's actually the kid of the rich people and not of the Millers, but the Millers are now rich because they're so endorsed by the rich people from that town. I think the rich people has something to do with the wolf. I think his actual father might be the wolf. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. Like, I'm 100 pages in. But it is so far a lot of building the characters, their relationships, and building this mystery around this boy and this wolf separately. And then Red obviously has a grandma who lives in the forest alone. So I do enjoy it. This is definitely a retelling. But I do hope we get on with the story soonish. Because so far I had 114 pages of setting the scene in this small town village, Red being bullied, Alex being worshipped for everything he can, and everything comes easy to him. And then we have Sabina, who is manipulating and angry at everybody because she cannot do what she wants to do because she's a girl. So I would like the story to, get there. We have seen the characters now. We have seen the small village vibes. I want to know, I want to get in what's going on with the wolf and the boy. I do think we're getting there, though. The boy has been attacked, and then his lover, which was the prettiest girl in town, has also been attacked. So I am very curious to see where this brings me. I've never read Gina Blaxill before, so I am enjoying it so far. We'll see. I have 260 pages to go, so I will update you a bit later on. It is done. I have finished All the Better to See You by Gina Blaxill. This was the retelling I enjoyed the most. Or, at least the one that is actually retelling. This has very tiny town vibes. Very much a wary community. It is set in the older days where they still believed in witches. And I did really enjoy this book. It definitely took its sweet time to get something going. And then we kind of had a witch hunt, which was very interesting. But unfortunately, the ending is very underwhelming. It is predictable. The characters that we're hunting for are the ones that you can immediately know they're just by the fact that this is an Red Riding Hood retelling. You can guess it. So that is extremely unfortunate. However, the ending where we have the afterword of the doctor, I really, really enjoyed. So I think this is going to be a 3-star. It does feel very average. Enjoyed some bits, took its sweet time. Underwhelming ending. 3 might be generous, but I do believe that I was enjoying this for the most part. So with a little bit of editing, let's go back to Red for the summary. Here I am, again. To summarize this video, it did not
go as planned. But what does, right? First, I read What Big Teeth by Rose Szabo. This was my favorite book in this vlog. Absolutely loved it. But it is not a Red Riding Hood retelling. This is about a monstrous family. And there are all kind of different monsters in there. They literally live on an old mansion house. An old money mansion on a hill outside of a small village. This was incredible. It was really well done. And I think I will be recommending this one a lot more. However, it is not a Red Riding Hood retelling. So that was a bit, disappointing in a Red Riding Hood vlog. Then I tried reading Red Sisters by Jackson Pearce. I was most looking forward to. Unfortunately, I didn't have this one. I didn't like it. It was a very slow book. And not a lot was happening. I didn't really care for the characters. I didn't really care for what was happening. And it was all about the hunt of the werewolves. And I didn't really care about that. Very unfortunate. Because the second book in the series was 5 stars. So this was Jackson Pearce's debut. And I'm just throwing this on her not knowing yet what her voice was and how she would like to write books. And obviously she has improved immensely in the second book. So we'll continue this series, but it will get here when it gets here, right? But this book is about 2 sisters who hunt vineyards, which are basically werewolves. There are clans of werewolves, and there is this very important thing going on that only happens in a couple of, it takes every couple of years. So that's the second book. And then finally we had a book that was indeed a Red Riding Hood retelling, and I enjoy, which was All the Better to See You by Gina Blaxill. I'm still not sure if this is a YA or middle grade. You do follow a young girl, but it reads more like a young adult than a middle grade does. And in this we follow Red. Red is a bit quirky. The village calls her slow because she chooses not to talk a lot. And everybody in this village is afraid of the forest. There has been a wolf 5 years ago that actually took people working in the forest or travelers through the forest. Red doesn't care. Her granny lives in the forest. And Red just walks into the forest every single day to visit her granny. Which obviously is weird for the villagers. This is also set way back. So in the years that were, witchcraft was a sentence. So there is a bit of accusing each other of witchcraft, and the town basically goes on a witch hunt because they think they have a witch in their midst that has summoned the wolf. It is a bit different. I do think this ending is very easy to guess, totally based on the vibe alone that this is a Red Riding Hood retelling. But if you don't mind an outcome that is a bit predictable, this is an enjoyable read. It has old school town vibes, witch hunt vibes, Red Riding Hood vibes. And I gave it 3 stars just because of the ending. The ending was disappointing to me because I want surprising endings. If the ending would have been surprising, it would have been 4 stars. So take that with a grain of salt, whatever you like. But that's it for this video. I do hope you liked. Let me know down below what fairy tale I need to do next, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, please like, subscribe if you want to see more chaos from me. Bye, nerd!